Holy shit. You remember
all summer on this floor in this gym, we've talked about not 2 minutes short. We're not going to have our work leave us 2 minutes short. That's been a motivating factor.
I got it. Start right at 4 basically.
Monday of March. It is the Bart Lundy Basketball Show. We welcome those of you watching us on YouTube, listening on the Varsity Network, listening on MKPanthers.com. However and wherever you have found us on a Monday night, we do appreciate it. We have a jam-packed show here as we get you ready for the conference tournament, which will begin for some tomorrow, but most importantly for the Panthers on Thursday, and it will be a home game, which is rather significant. Before we get to that, we'll talk about the way the regular season rounded out, and Senior Day, and wins over both the Michigan schools, Oakland and Detroit Mercy. We have not one but two guests. We'll have the athletics director, Amanda Braun, here with us, and ladies and gentlemen, the Horizon League's newcomer of the year. Season. We have a lot to get to, and I suppose we can squeeze in a preview as much as we can preview an unknown opponent to come and the way things have kind of shaped up. So we got a conference tournament coming. We have all conference honors to talk about. We'll recap things and whatnot. So I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we'll bring in the coach. Stick with us. More of the Bart Lundy Basketball Show. Roll out. Welcome back inside the gas house. Would you please put your hands together? Coach, it is already the first Monday of March. How about that?
Went fast.
Okay, here's the question for you. Compare and contrast how you feel November 1st versus March 1st. How about that?
Well, right now. I've got some kind of virus, so
Fake
feel pretty
news.
rough right now. No, you know, we're, I feel good. You know, we know our group. We've learned a lot of lessons, and we're playing good basketball. Their togetherness is really at a high level, and I think we've positioned ourselves to give us a really good chance in this tournament, which is, you know, when the Horizon League comes down to these days in March. So we're ready. We've been treating it like a tournament for the last 2 games, so we're 2-0 so far.
That's right.
Yeah.
And in those 2 games, the defense, I mean, I've used the term championship caliber now for the last week or so. To see what you did against Oakland, 14 steals, 20 forced turnovers, 30 points off turnovers, and then less than 48 hours later, you best that. Your defense in those categories has not been any better against Division I opponents than they have been in those last 2 games. I mean, that's kind of been the fuel, which is probably what you want anytime, but especially this time.
Yeah, and you know, I think Oakland was missing Little Jones, which hurt them. But you know, the way we play does at the end of the year when guards are tired, if you don't have guard depth, our guys can get after you, and we came at them in waves and really turned that Oakland game around with our pressure. They did a good job in multiple presses. I thought in the Oakland game, Johnny really gave us a huge lift. And he played a little bit in the Detroit game, but I think you know, he was ill after the Oakland game. So you know, it's run through our team a little bit, but he still, you know, had productive minutes in that Detroit game. But boy, was he good in changing our defensive pressure. AJ was great. Themis came up with some steals, and then, you know, Jamichael and those guys were spectacular on the glass as usual. On Saturday, in particular, the game against Detroit Mercy, it was the way you blitzed them right out of the gate. I mean, you and I talked in the pregame, I think it was on the air, maybe it was just off the air, but in your office, about maybe this is a team, you know, as talented as Detroit Mercy is, but they haven't won a conference road game in now, what, 25 months, 26 months or something like that. Maybe this is one of those teams where, hey, throw a couple of haymakers early, Yeah.
they go, here we go again. And that's kind of how it went after they scored the first basket of the game.
Yeah, and you know, the guys that were returning from last year remember how, you know, the dogfight we were in the tournament last year at our place. So you know, but I think the energy came because we are focused. I told them today we had the best week of preparation we've had all year, leading up to those 2 games, and there are no secrets. You know, if you prepare like that, good things happen. And then you add in senior night, and those seniors, that's a prideful group, and they really came out with fire behind them. I don't think Detroit was ready for the intensity of that game, and we did shock them. It took us a long time to put them away. We got silly at times when we had chances, but eventually we did, and it was a great game. That was a great day for the program. Honoring those guys, the ceremony, all of it, Duffy's dunk to end it.
I don't recall a game, and again, I'm not always seated right by the bench, but I couldn't recall a game offhand where to start, I'm talking about Saturday, to start with a couple of steals, KP a basket, KP a dunk. KP has 2 dunks this year.
Yeah.
KP. He said he's 1 over his average, he told me.
Yeah.
Themis had a steal and a breakaway. There was joy. I looked on the bench. Like there was true joy in seeing that unfold and seeing those guys do those things. And that was just it was really great just to see that and witness that. To recognize other guys celebrating their teammates.
Yeah, we haven't. That's not been necessarily our MO. We've talked a lot all year about being able to celebrate others' success, and that hasn't been our strength all the time, and not necessarily because you know, they don't, but we do have some guys that are so intense and so into, you know, what am I doing, that they forget to celebrate when KP gets a dunk, and but that's evolved, and chemistry, I think this is college basketball. Chemistry is going to develop later, you know, with teams learning each other.
Especially in this day and age.
In this day and age, you know, learning each other on the fly. So I think we're seeing that right now.
Yeah, the other moment that I'm reminded of is the Duffy stealing dunk. Because up until that point, all the seniors had scored, and he's hitting a couple of threes, and then all of a sudden, look out, steal, breakaway. And if you folks watch that highlight back, and I think it was in the post-game highlight package, I'm pretty sure it was, that was posted with the story. Yeah, you watch Duffy do his thing, but watch the bench. Like, watch the reaction of the guys on the bench to what he did.
Yeah, and we had been in the huddle going out of before that play. We had the ball, and we told the guys Duffy has to get the ball. And so he posted 3 different sides, and we couldn't get the ball to him. So he said, "The heck with that! I'm just going to go get it myself," and he did. So good for Duffy.
Now, you told us you were in a bit of a pinch because you had 6 seniors that were honored, but you can obviously only start 5 legally. I suppose you could have tried something, but I think you want to start to give it a technical foul.
I thought about it.
That would have made ESPN.
Mando would love that.
Why is it 2-0 already? I just got here. What happened? Can you explain how Duffy and Faison, they had a feats of strength back in the locker room to figure out who was going to start and who would be the first sub?
Yeah, we so 6 seniors. We decided to announce all 6, but only 5 can go out. So I brought Duffy and Faison together, and I said, "You guys have the least ego in this."
Okay.
And one of you, you know, here's my plan. One of you starts, does the tap, the other one goes to the scores table when the ball goes up and subs in immediately. And they were fine. They both said, "I'll come off the bench or I'll start." So we decided they both wrestled a lion, and whoever pinned the lion before the fastest got it. No, they did rock, paper, scissors, and Faison won.
Was it like best out of 3?
No, you know what's funny is Duffy wanted to go best out of 3, and Faison said no, just 1, and he won. I think Duffy was scissors and Faison was rock, which just shocked me that he was rock.
So that's why he was the starter and why Duff came off the bench.
It is. That's the analytics behind it.
That's the analytics of paper, rock, scissors.
Yeah.
Thursday night. My question is this: in the course of the game, because I've never been in your position, so I don't know how coaches, where they are mentally, you're locked into such a way that you don't know time.
I just watch Campy the whole time.
Time or space exists.
I don't coach my team. I don't talk to the referees. I just watch Campy. I'm like, that's a superstar over there. I hope he's watching.
41st year head coach.
Yeah.
Could you realize, because at some point I realized we've crossed the 2-hour mark and we still got like 7 minutes to go. Could you tell, we went 2.5 hours. That Bucks game started when we did.
Yeah.
And got out like 5 minutes before our buzzer sounded. Can you tell, my question is this, in the moment that we've been here a long time?
Yeah, no, when you get to your 8th review of the second half, you realize that this is taking forever. And Wayne Larrabee said it best. He's like, I've called NFL games that took less time than your Oakland game. So, it was a slugfest, and no flow to that second half. We got the lead, and we showed them all the clips. We spent a long film session today, and the end of it was just so choppy. Everything was coming out off the timeouts, and it just no flow.
Maybe you don't have an answer for this. I assume nobody does, because when there is an answer, something might change. What can we do about the reviews? Because there is a necessity to it. And I don't know what. Well, if there's a deflected possession could change, or
I don't mind.
Maybe not.
I don't mind in the last minute if we did that, but these ongoing, human error. To me, we make a lot of errors. Why can't the officials make errors? The players have no idea. Half the time, I don't have an idea when
what are they looking at?
all you see is everybody doing this, And I just think, hey, is it a goaltender or not? Make the call. One of us is going to yell at you, and we keep playing. You know, and but you know that's you know for Amanda is going to fix the refereeing. She is. I'm serious. She has some really good ideas about refereeing. Is an odd profession. It's an odd way that you rise through the ranks and that you get promoted. I think the NCAA will look at that at some point.
You know, one of the things I've thought, because they become pseudo timeouts, which I guess, I mean, if you're out of timeouts, it's great. You don't have to burn one of yours. I thought, like, what if, here would be a suggestion, because to try and avoid to have it become, in essence, a timeout for coaches, what if the players, like, okay, we have a review. Coaches, you gotta stay on the sideline, and the 5 on the floor can't come beyond the lane line. They gotta stay out there. That way you avoid the huddle and give perhaps a coach an advantage, one or the other. Like, all right, we're gonna review this. The 5 guys gotta stay beyond the lane line. Coaches, you gotta do your thing. If you wanna try to yell and communicate, that's fine.
The way it happened in that game is there would be 2 referees reviewing the play and 1 talking to Campbell. So, I don't know. I mean, you know, what... We cannot have timeouts. I mean, I don't have anybody to talk to because the guys don't want to hear anymore. Like, we've been over here for 12 minutes.
So what else? You look at them and go, so what else do you
Yeah.
guys?
Hey, make a shot at some point. Don't turn the ball over. You know?
Just to back to Thursday, how did you think you guys did against that zone? Because it is so hard to explain. I know it's so hard to coach, and we were talking in the pregame too about, you know, just to try to identify what type of amoeba zone is happening out there. How did you think they handled it overall?
I would say if our first game was an F-, we were at about a C+.
Okay.
We improved. I think playing that game, having the film we had today, where they can see what we were trying to accomplish, where we shrunk our own floor, where we can get it to certain spots, the adjustments that Oakland made, the adjustments that they can make when we don't, you know, shrink our own floor and, you know, be in the wrong spots. I think we have a chance to, and they'll adjust to what we do, so we've got to have some new stuff, and can't be watching this. And Gottlieb swore to me yesterday over text that they are beating them, so I think the Phoenix are coming to play. But I also listened to Campy's interview, and he said that, you know, I don't think we're asleep on that anymore, so that'll be a dogfight. But you know, we did better. We got it to better spots. When the game's going up and down, and when we don't get set, and it slows down with 8 reviews, we're pretty good. When it slows to a grinding halt with fouls and reviews, it gets much harder. It makes their zone way better.
Well, look, you're the #1 fast break scoring team in the country for a reason. I mean, that is part of what makes you guys such a good team. So the more you go up and down, the better.
And I'll give Oakland credit. They've got a package that they go to in the second half that they really get fouled in, and they slow the game down. And even if they're down, you saw it against us, you saw it against Green Bay. They chip away because the game slows down and they spend so much time at the free throw line. So, you know, even if you have a lead on them, they're dangerous going down that stretch.
So, regular season has come to a close. 21-10, 3 straight 20-win seasons and counting. No coach in the history of this program, D1 or prior, has begun his career here at Milwaukee with 3 straight 20-win seasons. So, Coach, congratulations on that. I know you check a box.
Yeah.
We're not having parades and stuff, but you check a box because there is something to be said for the consistency to which you have and your program has been performing in your first 3 years.
Yeah, we've become one of the teams in the league that people look at and say they're going to be good every year, and that's the conversation we want to be in. None of that matters. You know, we'll talk about the North Star, but the North Star is the NCAA tournament, you know, we've raised our net. We've gotten ourselves into a position if we can make the NCAA tournament, we might get a decent seed, give ourselves a chance in that first round. But you know, 20 wins is great. That's, you know, super. But North Star.
You got it. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, Athletics Director Amanda Braun is here. We'll talk about Thursday's game at the Klachi Center. We might talk about the next edition to the Horizon League as well. The Huskies of NIU coming in a couple of years. A lot to get to with Bart Lundy and Amanda Braun as we continue on a Monday night.
What? Where are they at right now? So maybe I would have gone in today.
Welcome back to the Bart Lundy Basketball Show here on a Monday night. T-Bus 1 is assembled and we appreciate
There we are.
it very much. Yes, it is, dear T-Bus 1. T-Bus 1, we are here. Would you please put your hands together for Athletics Director Amanda Braun, who's Amanda, thanks for doing this. Have you had the cheese curds here yet? I highly recommend the cheese curds.
Yeah, I have. It's been some time. Not tonight, though. I wasn't, I was trying to get, I didn't want that to be my pregame meal here.
Alright. Fair enough. Yeah, it was mine. So.
No waffles.
Okay. There, everybody, if you're wondering when will there be a
Pearl
Lundy.
waffle wars.
Okay. Sugar pearl waffles.
Sugar pearl waffle. We dropped the sugar.
That's right, I appreciate
Just
that.
pearl waffle.
No, I don't have pearl waffle.
Pearl waffle wars.
Okay, there it is. You had 6:23 in the pool as to when coach was gonna reference my, have you had it? No.
So you're a waffle guy.
Well, I mean.
So pancakes, waffles, you're a waffle.
Are you? Sugar pearl waffles, I'm just saying.
Let's look that up.
Best thing about our trip to Northern Kentucky, up until this year when we swept Wright State and NKU, was the waffles in Cincinnati.
Barrel's low.
No, we never swept both games, and now we did, so now that is my favorite thing. Okay, let's talk about the Horizon League tournament, getting a bye tomorrow, and so we don't have to wait, or we don't have to play tomorrow. It's not until Thursday, and the decision, let's talk about this, to play the game on Thursday at the K. And I know it's a decision that you both take seriously, not lightly. Just take us through that decision-making process and why you guys feel like this is the best to put that team in a 40-minute environment to advance, which is what it comes down to.
Sure. Yeah, well, I think Coach has said it publicly. We feel like if there's even a little bit of a chance that we can influence game environment that would influence the outcome for our student athletes and having that experience and giving them a little bit extra juice, we're going to do it, right? Not an easy decision. A lot went into, talked about all the variables and really putting our staff out in some ways to make that change and that shift last minute, which we appreciate a great deal. But that was kind of the start of the conversation is, right, like how do we position our team for success? And we love Panther Arena. it's a fantastic place to play. We wish it was an easy decision, right? We wish we had an average of 4,000 in Panther Arena. We wouldn't even have the conversation, but we're sort of in that middle of our build, right, with our attendance, that we needed to talk about it. So Coach reached out and asked, I said, let me gather some information and we'll have a conversation and decide together, which is what we did.
Yeah, and you know, it really comes down to me, a few things. One, we're 14-1 in the K since we got here. Mark Money told me 2 years ago the best event in his tenure here, of all the years and all the positions he's had, was the Wright State game 2 years ago when the fire marshal should have been called. You know, we get to practice in there all week. We wouldn't have touched the floor in the arena. We couldn't get 1 second of practice time. There's a chance, as much as we'd all like to say there would be 3,000 people at that game, there's also a chance that people have to buy tickets that they didn't already have. There are no freebies in this game with the league. You know, this is a conference tournament, so there's a good chance that we have 1,000 in there. It feels like 100. So I have a North Star, and that North Star is the NCAA tournament, and I'm not going to let feelings about the arena. I came here because of the arena. Amanda, she knows that. That was a big part of the decision making in taking this job, and I love it. But the K gives us a little bit better chance. We might not win, you know, but the K gives us a little bit better chance to win it. And you know, gotta get on board with it. Gotta get on board with it. It is what it is.
It's one of those things where just to the point, Amanda, that you said, you know, am I fair in saying?
I'll tell you a little more.
Okay.
I'll tell you. We build this program, and Amanda knows what our preseason is like. And we build this program that we don't care when we practice, we don't care where we practice. It's great to have a practice facility. It's great to have Panther Arena. But our guys know that we're going to be the toughest dudes, and that we will play wherever. If we get Oakland wants to play on the park, we'll play them in the park. All right. I think the K gives us a little bit better chance. I think Greg Campbell's going to walk in there and he's going to watch this. And if they beat Green Bay, he's going to walk in there and he's going to be all pissed off that he's got to play in the K. And that environment will make our pressure for them suffocating. And it does give us an advantage. And I hope our fans understand that the NCAA tournament, if we can make that, and if we continue to make Indy each year, we have a good chance to do that. It changes our university. So to me, this is a no-brainer decision. And I would love to make everybody happy, but that's not my job.
No, it isn't. I mean, it is your responsibility to put your team in the best position for over a 40-minute span. I need to be 1 point better than the team that's coming in here and beating us. And nobody knows, and apologize if I hurt feelings, but nobody knows what it takes to get your team to perform at its best, at its highest peak. Nobody knows that better than you. I mean, that's the truth.
Well, and I'll just chime in
Please.
a few more words.
Please.
I mean, 23 years of head coaching experience. He knows what he's talking about, and it's rare anymore that I question. And I see the conviction in his eyes when he's got something he believes in. And so you don't question it. And I hope nobody else does either. He knows what he's talking about. He's putting his butt on the line out there and every night. And we need to be there for him and do the things that it takes to win the games.
Thanks.
No, that's absolutely true. There is something, and Amanda, when we were chatting a little bit before off the air a little bit, to work with the fans. Because okay, some people want to come, they don't want to come, but in the grand scheme of things, this is about a cooperative approach and moving forward. So that we're averaging 4,500, 5,000 at Panther Arena, and then it's not even a thing. We'll see you at Panther Arena that night because we're going to have 5,000 people in there for a conference tournament game, right?
Right, yeah, and I mean, North Star, certainly, I think NCAA tournament appearances, you know, us winning this league on a fairly regular basis, But what our North Star really is, and Bart said it, is helping this university achieve its goals. And that's brand visibility, enrollment, engagement with our community, our campus. And if we're doing those things on a regular basis, and we're gonna get those 4,000 crowds on average. And I'm the a little bit analytical number nerd, kind of like Bart. And I've been looking at average attendance in Division I, and there's 24% of Division I averages reported attendance of 5,000 or more. And it's only about 44% that average reported 2,500 or more. So, we've got this idea that we're supposed to have, because we have 12,000 seats, which we would love to fill, and we know we can do it. But we do also have to recalibrate on behalf of our team, our program, our staff, and our fans. If we can average 3,000-4,000 within our level, a non-A4 Big East, that's elite. And so that is what we want to do. We want to get to that 4,000. I'm throwing out that number a little arbitrarily. We're gonna crunch those numbers and figure out what is the right goal.
Right.
But it's not lost on me, that I walk in and that, I see Jimmy and a couple other guys in the student section and there's nobody else. And, don't think that didn't come into this decision-making process. I didn't want to walk in there and our guys be, in a worse crowd than what they saw on senior night, and that to me was a real possibility, and I know the K is going to be filled.
Yeah. Can I just go back to the number you said? I jotted it. So you said, I think you have to process this for a second. So you said 24%, Division I.
Just shy of 100 teams, out of 365, 360.
Only 24% report 5,000 or more, and who knows what goes into the calculation of
Yeah,
report.
there's no official mechanism.
44% report 2,500 or more.
Yeah, right. So we're gonna,
didn't
listen, we're in the shadows of the Bucks and teams at a high level, high resource institutions, and we get it, we know where we are, but we also aren't making excuses. Like, that's not an excuse. We understand the reality of our situation, and we're in a really big building. We're in a building that might be too big for us game in and game out. So in the off season, we're gonna be working on how do we create a better environment for our student athletes. That creates a fan experience, a fan environment that every night in and night out, they're having a great experience that gets them energized and dunks and threes and all the things we're trying to do.
Can I ask you a question about, I think there are maybe people, and I'm glad you're here doing this, I think there are people who go, oh man, they're going back to the K, this is it, this is mission creep. It's mission creep, they do this, and then we're gonna go back to the Klatsche Center. Once and for all, are we going back to Klatsche Center?
Yeah, so it's Panther Arena for a reason, right? That was an institutional decision quite some time ago, and we're committed to doing that. And our fans love being down there. We love being down there. We think it's a fantastic place for us to be. We have goals, and we got to get closer to reaching those goals around attendance and fan engagement in order for us to necessarily be a really big game down there. That's the goal.
When you've talked about it from your opening press conference, you're across, or no, it was in this building upstairs in the Wisconsin room. You talked about the fact that you bring recruits to that arena.
Yeah.
And you look through the window, you look across the street, Fiserv Forum, and say,
Yeah.
you want to get there? Well, then play here. I'll get you there.
Yep, and that's the window that I saw when Amanda toured me through there, and that was the vision that I had, and I still, that's still the vision, and that's still. Jamichael Stillwell stood in front of that window.
He's nodding yes. You can't see it at all. He's nodding.
And he's a prime example. He's standing there and he wants to get there, and he'll have a shot at that. And but not only 23 years of head coaching experience, I've been doing this a long time, and I've coached in every kind of gym.
I was trying not to age discriminate, I'm going to add years to that.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I've coached in the biggest arenas, and I've coached in the smallest gyms, and everything in between. And the K gives us the best chance in this single game. And to me, that there's nothing that can override that single criteria.
I said this, Jimmy and I were talking before the show, and I said this to him, and I'll say it to you now on the show. I wasn't planning to do it, but I'll say it. The moment that your head coach makes a decision that is not going to put his team in the best interest, the moment that your head coach of any team suddenly decides other factors are at play, and I may have to take this or that or the other thing into account, and putting your team in the best position to succeed is not the only variable at play. Like, that's when people should be worried. That's when fans need to start complaining and griping and being worried about what's wrong with my program. When your coach suddenly does not simply look singularly at what's going to put my team in the best position to succeed. That's the problem you should be looking for, not for a problem that isn't really a problem.
So just one last thing with that. I appreciate Amanda and Chancellor Loney, taking, some of the responsibility for the decision. They supported what I asked them to do, and I knew that it would be unpopular. And there's no doubt. I knew whatever I got, which I've gotten a lot, and I knew that was coming. And there's a North Star, and we're plowing through. And I don't know if it'll be this year, but it's going to be. And we're going to make it happen. And this is one hard decision in many hard decisions along that path.
Mm-hmm. Fans can disagree, but they can respect it. I think that's the key. Please disagree, but I respect the decision,
Absolutely.
and I know where you're coming from. Before I let you go, can I ask you about Northern Illinois, NIU, DeKalb, Illinois? 26-27 season is when NIU is joining. You and I haven't had a chance to talk about it since that became official, and Coach the same late last week, and I know it's 2 years out. But just your initial thoughts on what that means for the league, for the conference, short-term, long-term?
Yeah, I think, we worked through that. They inquired, obviously, given their Mountain West choice of the football, they needed to land somewhere.
Which makes perfect sense. DeKalb, Illinois, playing in the Mountain West.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Welcome to college athletics.
Yes.
So yeah, we knew that it was coming and had a nice runway of analysis opportunity, I think, from the league office. And for us, and I did talk about it a little bit, when it was kind of being thrown around, and some of our other staff, it makes sense, right, regionally for us, for Milwaukee. Their institution looks a lot like ours. They sponsor similar sports. We're hoping they improve their men's basketball program in order to help our league. But no, really a good fit. I think it helps some of our other sport programs. Another league member. Tennis is one of those, baseball is another. So it makes a lot of sense. And now we've got this symmetrical geography with Green Bay, us, and Northern Illinois, and then Robert Morris, Youngstown, Cleveland State, and 6 in the middle. So that's helpful, I think, to us. I was talking to our track coach today, and he thinks they probably have an opportunity to host track, which is really good. So it keeps us from going to Youngstown all the time. But yeah, I think it's a really great ad, both short-term and hopefully even more so long-term. Brand elevation in the Mountain West Conference of football, that's reflective on us, I hope. That Northern Illinois, maybe if they build their football program, now there are other sports in our league, is helpful with a brand and visibility.
Coach, I know you're focused on this week and the next couple of weeks, hopefully, but just, I guess, adding NIU and adding a school will be at, 12 in the HL.
I think the way that men's basketball scheduling is going is probably a good thing for us. It's a regional opponent. I think they have the ability to get better. They're not very good right now, but they have the ability to get better. And then the big schools, Power 5 schools, have these mega conferences, and they're going to need less games. So the non-conference scheduling is going to become more and more difficult. And so I don't know if the league will go round robin, or they'll make those decisions, but adding a regional opponent for us that's just as close as Green Bay, to me makes a lot of sense. And I don't know